Imaginations can be a powerful thing. They've helped us get through childhood and maybe even that office meeting we had last week. What we imagine and the fictional worlds we create are often greatly influenced by the world around us. Just look at Disney. You might think their animated films are total fiction, but many of the locations they use, from palaces to villages, are inspired by real places. Notre Dame Cathedral, Paris. We'll start this one off with probably the most obvious example of all. When you have a movie called The Hunchback of Notre Dame, it's a good bet you are going to include the famed Notre Dame Cathedral. Based on Victor Hugo's novel of the same name, Disney's 1996 film takes place in Paris, France. The film star Quasimodo lives inside the cathedral, which required the film team to actually visit the real site beforehand. From the gargoyles and stained glass windows to the iconic Twin Towers, the similarities with Disney's version are obvious. Hôtel de Glace, Canada. In 2013, Disney released Frozen. With Let It Go now playing in your head, it may interest you to know that Elsa's spectacular ice palace wasn't just dreamt up, but inspired by a real location. Every year in Quebec, Canada, workers build the Hôtel de Glace out of snow and ice. The impressive structure has a chapel, bar, grand hall, and many rooms, all furnished with, of course, ice furniture. You probably won't find Elsa there, but a few years ago you would have likely run into Frozen director Chris Buck, who stayed at the hotel 5 years before the film's release. Mont Saint-Michel, France. If you ever travel to Normandy, France, and see the island castle of Mont Saint-Michel, you can be excused if you start thinking you're actually in the kingdom of Corona. No, Rapunzel doesn't live here, but there is a strong Disney link. The artist responsible for creating the castle seen in the beginning of the 2010 animated film Tangled did get a lot of their inspiration from the site. Of course, whether there's a nearby hidden tower with an evil woman in it is a whole other question. Machu Picchu, Peru. High up in the mountains of Peru is the ancient Inca city of Machu Picchu. Built hundreds of years ago, the location is a top tourist destination and, as it turns out, a Disney inspiration. For their 2000 release of The Emperor's New Groove, the Disney team traveled to Peru and visited locations like Machu Picchu, find ideas for their production. From Cusco's mountaintop castle to Pacha's high-altitude village, the influence of the ancient lost city on this Disney film is pretty evident. Alcázar of Segovia, Spain. Built on a rocky ridge in Spain is a castle that looks like it belongs in a fairy tale. In fact, this Spanish castle is so impressive that it influenced 2 different Disney castles. Whether you think this is the Queen's Castle from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or Cinderella's iconic castle now found in the center of Disney World, you are correct. This castle's location and architecture was just too good to use once, and therefore found its way into real life and on the big screen. Shamrock, Texas. Sure, when we think of Disney locations, we automatically think of fancy palaces and castles, but it's not all about the royal locations. If you enjoy the animated film Cars and also like taking long road trips across the United States, there's a chance you may have a deja vu moment if you ever drive through Shamrock, Texas. At the center of the town is the You Drop-In Cafe, a restored Conoco gas station that inspired Ramon's Body Shop in the 2006 film. Château de Chillon, Switzerland. You can't forget the Swiss when it comes to building castles, and Disney certainly didn't. Found on the eastern shore of Lake Geneva, Château de Chillon made its way into a rather popular Disney film. Can you guess which one? We'll give you a hint. One of the main characters is Ariel. If you guessed The Little Mermaid, you are right. This particular castle ended up inspiring the home of Prince Eric, the royal hero who ends up marrying Ariel. Taj Mahal, India. Translating into Crown of Palaces, India's Taj Mahal is one of the most iconic man-made structures on the planet. While it's actually a mausoleum, the building was seen as perfect inspiration for the palace in 1992's Aladdin. Sure, the Taj Mahal is in India and Aladdin takes place in the Middle East, but most viewers didn't seem to care. Disney even tied the 2 locations together by placing Aladdin in the fictional land of Agrabah, a nod to Agra, the city where the Taj Mahal is located. Neuschwanstein Castle, Germany. If you've watched even a few Disney movies over the years or traveled to their theme parks, then you know that castles play a big part in nearly every story. In fact, the iconic castle from Disney's first theme park was inspired by one spectacular German castle. When Walt Disney was traveling through Europe, he was so impressed with Neuschwanstein Castle and its spires and turrets that he made sure many of its features found their way into the design of Sleeping Beauty's Disneyland Castle. The Loire and Alsace regions, France. The original 91 version of Beauty and the Beast had a definite French influence when it came to buildings and settings. Belle's town was clearly influenced by the designs found in the towns of the Alsace region, and the Beast's castle was admittedly modeled after the Château de Chambord, found in the Loire Valley. Will the new live-action version continue this trend? Judging by the teaser trailer, the Beast castle looks familiar but with a twist, perhaps influenced by other Disney castle designs? Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Which Disney-inspired locations are your favorites, and what do you think Disney should take inspiration from next? Head on over to the comments and tell us what you think. If you like this video, please take a second to give us a good old thumbs up down below and subscribe to The Riches for more awesome content. Thanks for watching!